Jirtdan. Once upon a time, there was an old woman. This old woman had a little grandson. He was so tiny that everyone called him Jirtdan. One day, Jirtdan saw that the neighbors' children were going to the forest to collect firewood. He came to his grandmother and said, "Granny, I want to go to the forest with the other children." The old woman called the children and gave each of them a piece of bread with butter. Then she entrusted Jirtdan to their care. On the way, Jirtdan suddenly sat down and refused to walk. The children asked,
"Hey, Jirtdan, why aren't you coming?"
Jirtdan said,
"My granny asked you to look after me. Carry me on your backs."
So the children took turns carrying him to the forest. When they started gathering firewood, they noticed Jirtdan wasn't helping.
"Hey, Jirtdan, why aren't you gathering wood?"
"My granny asked you to take care of me.
"Gather some wood for me, too,"
he replied. So they gathered some for him. Later, each child tied their bundle of firewood and carried it on their back. Jirtdan just sat and watched. "Hey, Jirtdan, why aren't you carrying your wood?" "My granny asked you to take care of me." "Carry mine too." The children had no choice but to carry his bundle as well. After walking a while, they saw Jirtdan lagging behind, crying.
"Why are you crying, Jirtdan?"
"I'm tired." "My granny gave you buttered bread." One of the children interrupted angrily.
"You're being spoiled. We're not carrying you anymore."
Jirtdan was left with no choice and followed behind them. They walked for a long time and it got dark. They lost their way. Then they saw a light in one direction and heard a dog barking in another. One said, "Let's go toward the light." Another said,
"No, toward the dog."
They didn't know what to do, so they asked Jirtdan, "Jirtdan, should we go toward the barking dog or the light?" "If we go to the barking dog, it might bite us. Let's go toward the light. Maybe we'll find a way," he said. So they walked toward the light and came upon a giant's house. The giant saw them and said to himself, "Perfect, I'll eat them one by one tonight." He gave them some bread and put them to bed. Later that night, the giant wanted to eat one of the children. To check if they were asleep, he asked, "Who is asleep and who is awake?" Jirtdan quickly raised his head and said, "Everyone is asleep. Jirtdan is awake."
"Why are you awake, Jirtdan?"
"My granny always made me an omelet before bed," he replied. The giant went and cooked him an omelet, hoping he'd sleep. After a while, the giant asked again, "Who is asleep and who is awake?" Jirtdan replied, "Everyone is asleep. Jirtdan is awake."
"Why aren't you sleeping now?"
"My granny used to bring me water from the river using a sieve." So the giant grabbed a sieve and went to the river. Meanwhile, Jirtdan woke up the other children.
"The giant wants to eat us! Quick, let's escape!"
The children ran and crossed the river. The giant tried to fill the sieve with water, but it kept leaking out. Frustrated, he returned and saw the children across the river. He called out, "Hey kids, how did you cross the river?" Jirtdan replied, "Go find a millstone, hang it around your neck, jump in, then you'll cross." The giant believed him. He found a heavy millstone, tied it around his neck, jumped into the river, and drowned.